Fabiana. I'm a clinical psychologist here at Us Therapy, and today we are going to talk a bit about workplace burnout. Burnout is a state of physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion. That it only happens to individuals with high workload. Burnout can in fact happen to everyone as long as they feel that they are overwhelmed regardless of how much their workload is like. And burnout can happen because of many different factors. It can happen not just because of burnout at work, but it could also be competing responsibilities at home, social responsibilities that they have. Burnout essentially is a state of mental, physical, and emotional exhaustion that occurs when they feel that things are out of balance for them, and no matter how much you sleep, no matter how much you rest, you feel like you're just not able to get whatever it is that you need, that you can function for the next day. So another big misconception for burnout, it is an individual issue, that people burn out because they are weak, they just are not able to hack it, or they're just not as good as other people. But that is very far away from the truth. People burn out because they have too many things going on for them. So people burn out not because they are weak, but because they've been strong for too long, taking on too many things beyond their capacity, whatever that looks like, and that can look very different for different people, and they're constantly pushing their minds and their bodies to the limit. That's when burnout can happen and the brain decides that enough is enough. So when is it just normal workplace stress and when is it burnout? We feel stress all the time. If there are deadlines that are coming up, that can be very stressful. The biggest difference between stress and burnout is whether or not it's persistent. It's normal for us to go through stress. There are stressful events that are coming up, deadlines, presentations that can be stressful, and that's okay. But with burnout, it's often a very persistent state. It often involves a lot of lack of motivation. You just feel like you're no longer motivated to do your job. You're not enthusiastic as you once were. You will still be meeting your deadlines and you will still be meeting expectations, but that sort of zest that you have for that job is probably more difficult for you to acquire than it was before. And it's also a state of mental and physical exhaustion as well. With work stress, you might be exhausted because you're working a lot longer than you normally are, or you're putting a lot more effort in order to meet a specific deadline. But with burnout, it is persistent, it's prevalent, it goes on for much, much longer. So even when you don't have any deadlines coming up and you notice yourself feeling so much more exhausted than you once was, you manage to have a whole weekend to yourself to rest and it still doesn't feel like it's enough, and you feel so much dread about going into work the next day. You feel really, really unmotivated. That could be some signs that you are feeling some workplace burnout. That really depends on the individual. It depends a lot on what their own capacity is for the amount of work that they do and the amount of stress that they personally able to manage at one point in time. For most people, burnout starts really, really slow and accumulates, but sometimes it can last for months. Sometimes people can go through that state of burnout for years and they still stay in that job. It differs. There are a few reasons why burnout is often overlooked. The big one is really because burnout often happens very, very gradually. It's not something that happens overnight. Your workload piles up and you manage to do it, you get some rest, you manage to get through it, but then slowly things start feeling a little bit less off kilter. You feel like things are not just balanced and you're not quite sure why. You can't really put your finger on it. So it's really difficult to really ascertain whether or not you're in burnout because it happens so gradually and the symptoms can sometimes be very unspecific. Another reason why we tend to overlook burnout is because our society places so much emphasis on achievements, places so much emphasis on goals. We tie a lot of our self-worth and our self-esteem to achieving those goals and achieving those successes that we want to achieve. And with burnout, that might also in turn give ourselves a lot of shame to even admit that we're at a place where we're not able to manage our work anymore. So there's also a lot of stigma associated with burnout, especially in our culture where there's so much pressure to achieve. So if you do feel like you are experiencing burnout, there are a few things that you can do. The first one is to really think about your workload and where you can set some boundaries for yourself. For example, if you feel like you're quite stretched and a coworker comes and asks you for help, really think about whether or not you are able to do it, but whether or not you have the energy, the motivation, the interests to help your coworker out. And it's okay to say no. That's also another big one. It's okay to say no to tasks that you feel like you're not able to complete or you feel have too much on your plate at the moment. And then a really, really big one is to talk to a loved one. When we're talking about our problems, I know in the Singapore context it can feel like we're complaining, but talking to people allows us to process a lot of the things that are happening to us, especially internally, and that can really help with understanding a little bit more about what's going on for you, give yourself a lot more clarity about not just how you're feeling, but also what you can do about it as well. And it can also feel like you are not alone in your burnout, and that can be a really big help. And if you're feeling very, very overwhelmed, it can also be a good idea to speak to your manager or your reporting officer to let them know what you're experiencing, what you're going through. Something that you can say to start the conversation could be, hey, Mr. A, I've been feeling very tired and very unmotivated for a while. I think I need a bit of a break from task A, B, and C. Is that possible? You can even give a little bit of a time frame. Can I just have a break from this task for 1 month and then I can resume that responsibility? Knowing your boundaries and knowing your work values are important. It's very possible that other people are able to manage everything that you're doing and more. But it's also very possible that they are going through the exact same thing as you are, but also being quite afraid to speak out because of the exact same thoughts and feelings and fears that you have about being seen as incompetent, being seen as weak. And it's really, when you're experiencing burnout, it's also thinking about sustainability and also thinking about how long you want to stay in this kind of position. If you really value your work and you want to do it and you want to be able to stay in it for a long time, then it's really also about prioritizing a balance of what you do, when you do it, and when to reach out for help. I don't think that there is an exact clear point, but if you are experiencing a lot of difficulties at work, if feeling very unmotivated, if feeling very low, feeling very tired and exhausted, despite having sleep, despite having rest, if you feel like you're withdrawing from your friends and family, avoiding going out with them, feeling like you have no energy to do all of these things, if these things apply to you, it could be time to reach out for professional support. Therapy can help you learn a little bit more about what your values are around work and also downtime as well. What kind of balance would work best for you? How can we help you get there? How can we also schedule in some time for self-care, some time for exercise, some time for friends and family?